Exactly 5 years back from today, Titans Godzilla and Kong faced off in a massive showdown. Godzilla came out on top, defeating Kong and disappearing into the ocean depths afterward. Since that day, nobody has had any sign of Godzilla. Now, 5 years down the line, the story picks up again. We're shown a lush green island, Kong's territory. When Kong appears on screen, we notice he's much bigger than before. Waking from a nap, Kong splashes around and plays in the water. A young girl is nearby. Kong is fond of her. The two share a close bond. Kong never fights with her and does whatever she asks. This girl, though, is deaf and mute. Elsewhere, we learn Kong has turned violent. He's shown to be dangerously hostile. He rips up a tree and hurls it skyward, shattering the protective barrier around him. Because of this, Kong is confined within the settlement to prevent contact with Godzilla. Officials worry the two titans could destroy one another if they meet. Since Kong keeps growing, plans are made to relocate him elsewhere. Meanwhile, we're introduced to a young man employed at a tech firm. He's a hacker by trade. His company builds advanced technology, machines, robotics, and similar devices. This hacker grows suspicious of his employer. He believes the company is developing something dangerous. So he breaks into their systems and steals their data. Through this, he discovers the firm is transporting an enormous object toward Hong Kong. Suddenly, sirens start blaring at the facility. It's a warning that Godzilla is approaching. Moments later, Godzilla surfaces from the ocean. He immediately begins wrecking everything in sight. Nobody can explain why Godzilla is attacking, since he's always been a protector of humanity. Here the story reveals more about Godzilla's atomic breath. Using this devastating force, he tears through the entire company facility. Word of Godzilla's rampage spreads across the globe. But something about him seems different now. Where he once defended people, he's now attacking them without mercy. The company's leader announces publicly that his firm has a project underway. They claim to be close to building a machine capable of standing up to Godzilla. A young woman named Madison sees this broadcast. She refuses to accept that Godzilla has turned hostile since she's known him for years. To her, it sounds like a false story. She insists Godzilla only ever protects and rescues people, never harms them. She confronts her father about it, telling him something must be wrong. Her father responds that titans, much like people, aren't fixed in temperament. Their moods can shift too. Perhaps Godzilla has simply changed. Afterward, Madison comes across a broadcast from the hacker. He's posted a video online exposing what he found. Madison resolves to track him down and speak with him directly. She wants answers. Why has Godzilla turned violent, and what drove him to strike the company? Separately, the firm's owner arranges a meeting with a respected researcher, Dr. Nathan, who also happens to be a scientist. The owner reveals that Nathan's theory about a hollow Earth was accurate all along. This hidden realm is where Titans originate. In fact, Dr. Nathan had authored a book describing this concealed inner world called Hollow Earth. It remains invisible and unreachable to ordinary people. It also serves as an energy wellspring that powers the Titans. The company owner then introduces Nathan to another figure, who explains that they've located a power source within Hollow Earth. Its exact position remains unknown, buried deep underground. Just as the sun fuels the surface world, this source sustains the Titans. Securing it could let them rival Godzilla's strength. Nathan asks how they'd even reach such a place. He's told that his own brother once tried the journey years earlier, but never returned, having died in the attempt. Apparently, gravity doesn't function inside Hollow Earth, so objects and people simply drift. As a solution, the company owner reassures Nathan that his team has engineered an anti-gravity vehicle, which would allow safe passage into that world. The owner then points out that every Titan instinctively knows the way home, so their best bet is enlisting Kong's help. Dr. Nathan next meets with a colleague, a female doctor who has been caring for Kong. He explains that Kong must be returned to his true home in Hollow Earth, since keeping him topside any longer risks a deadly encounter with Godzilla. Hollow Earth is the only place he'd truly be safe. After some hesitation, she agrees, recognizing there's no better option. The team then loads Kong onto a vessel, restrained in chains, and sets off toward Hollow Earth alongside a military escort. The young girl who bonded with Kong communicates with him using sign language. She explains that his agitation stems from being shackled. The mission's commander tells the doctor they'll avoid Godzilla's usual route entirely, choosing an alternate path to stay undetected. She agrees this is the wisest plan, since Godzilla and Kong, both viewing themselves as the rightful ruler among Titans. Meanwhile, Madison meets up with the hacker, bringing a friend along. He tells them the corporation is constructing something enormous, destined to be shipped to Hong Kong once finished, and that this very project is what provoked Godzilla into destroying the facility. Back on the transport vessel, an alarm suddenly goes off. The young girl alerts the doctor that Godzilla has been spotted closing in. Dr. Nathan insists they release Kong from his restraints immediately. That way, Kong can confront Godzilla and protect everyone aboard. Godzilla soon arrives, plowing through and demolishing one of the ships in his path. Realizing Godzilla is near, Kong roars furiously, still bound in chains. The crew responds by firing missiles and rockets at Godzilla, but nothing penetrates his defenses. He retaliates by obliterating their aircraft. Godzilla then turns his focus to Kong's vessel, capsizing it entirely. The ship flips, plunging Godzilla himself and countless crew members into the sea. At that point, Kong's restraints are finally cut loose so he can fight back and rescue everyone. A brutal clash erupts between the two Titans. Kong manages to hurl Godzilla far out into the ocean, then rights the tilted ship to save the trapped passengers. But Godzilla resurfaces and charges toward the vessel holding the young girl. Kong leaps between ships to intercept him there. He lands a heavy blow on Godzilla, who strikes back just as hard, knocking Kong down. Kong recovers and counterattacks, sending Godzilla tumbling into the water. Enraged, Godzilla unleashes his atomic breath. Kong dives underwater to escape it. The blinding glow of the attack lights up the surroundings, leaving onlookers stunned by its raw power. The battle continues beneath the waves. Godzilla, capable of breathing underwater, holds a clear edge over Kong, who struggles without air. As Kong begins to falter, Godzilla drags him toward the ocean floor, intent on finishing him off. The doctor insists they must intervene or Godzilla will kill Kong. The crew fires a barrage of missiles into the sea, forcing Kong to surface for safety. Dr. Nathan then orders everyone to power down all systems, hoping to convince Godzilla they're already dead. Once everything goes silent, Godzilla eyes Kong menacingly before finally swimming off. The doctor warns that if they move now, Godzilla will sense they're alive and attack again. So how can they proceed with Kong in tow? Nathan proposes airlifting Kong instead. Meanwhile, Madison and her companions sneak into the company facility, hoping to uncover what triggered Godzilla's fury. Inside, they stumble upon massive eggs belonging to some creature. The moment they find them, the doors seal shut. The room turns out to be a transport pod, already en route to Hong Kong with the eggs aboard. Elsewhere, the military successfully guides Kong to the entrance of Hollow Earth. They urge him to step inside and explore this hidden underground realm, but Kong plants himself firmly and won't budge. The team decides their best chance is asking the young girl to persuade him, since he never refuses her. They remind Kong that his family, along with countless other creatures, awaits within. Kong finally agrees and enters the cavern leading to Hollow Earth. The team trails behind in their anti-gravity vehicles, marveling at this strange new world. The vehicles keeping them safe amid the chaos. Countless unfamiliar monsters roam this underground realm. A winged creature suddenly ambushes their vehicle, aiming for the young girl. But Kong intervenes and kills it, tearing off its head. Kong presses onward with everyone following close behind. With no gravity at play, everything within Hollow Earth floats freely. Meanwhile, Madison and her friends arrive in Hong Kong, where they uncover a hidden weapons program. The company has built its own version of Godzilla, a machine called Mechagodzilla, controlled by the same individual the owner had introduced to Dr. Nathan earlier. To test its capabilities, they release a skull crawler as a target, and Mechagodzilla dispatches it easily using its arsenal. The catch is that running Mechagodzilla at full strength demands far more energy that exists only within Hollow Earth. This explains why the company owner had been so determined to locate that power source, hoping to fully reactivate the machine. Eventually, Mechagodzilla comes online. Sensing its activation, Godzilla immediately begins heading toward Hong Kong, where the machine awaits. Hollow Earth reveals itself to be strikingly beautiful, home to an energy source nestled within a mountain. Kong makes his way there and pries open its entrance, letting out a roar. Inside, he discovers a massive axe crafted from Godzilla's own remains. He settles beside it like royalty claiming a throne. By now, Godzilla has reached Hong Kong and is advancing on Mechagodzilla, sending everyone fleeing for safety. Back in Hollow Earth, Kong realizes the energy source can also charge his newfound weapon, making the axe far deadlier once fully powered. Sensing an intruder, Godzilla slams his atomic breath into the ground, and the force travels underground straight to Kong. Meanwhile, the company's female co-owner secretly betrays the group, sending a sample of the energy source back to headquarters to power up Mechagodzilla fully. The doctor pleads with her not to, but she ignores the warning. Realizing Godzilla is now closing in on her, she attempts to escape, but Kong smashes her vehicle before she can flee. Kong readies himself, axe in hand, for the coming confrontation. Godzilla signals the start of battle with a blast of atomic energy. Kong arrives in Hong Kong and swings his axe at Godzilla, only for it to lodge into a building. Seizing the moment, Godzilla knocks Kong down, and a fierce brawl follows. Godzilla repeatedly attempts to finish Kong off using his nuclear power, but Kong endures each assault through sheer determination. Kong eventually lands a solid hit with his axe, wounding Godzilla. Furious, Godzilla retaliates by flinging Kong aside with another blast, though Kong manages to block it using the axe. Their fight drags on relentlessly, giving Godzilla's overwhelming strength. It looks as though Kong will ultimately lose. Godzilla wounds him severely and pins him down, roaring triumphantly with a foot on his chest. Kong lets out his own roar in defiance, prompting Godzilla to release him and step back. Meanwhile, the company owner finally secures the energy needed to fully activate Mechagodzilla. It turns out to be far larger and more powerful than Godzilla himself, but the machine soon slips beyond anyone's control. It kills the company owner first. Then it turns on his assistant and eliminates him too. Mechagodzilla then smashes through the wall and emerges into the open. Spotting the machine, Godzilla charges forward to confront it, and the two collide in combat. Given Mechagodzilla's immense power, Godzilla quickly finds himself outmatched, taking repeated hits until he collapses. Madison and the hacker scramble to shut down Mechagodzilla's power source, but every control panel is locked tight. Meanwhile, Kong lies badly injured, his condition worsening rapidly. He appears close to death. Listening to his heartbeat, the young girl signals that time is running out. Dr. Nathan proposes jolting Kong back to life using the anti-gravity vehicle's power. They administer the shock, and Kong stirs back to consciousness. The girl tells him that Godzilla isn't truly his enemy, but an ally, urging him to go help. Kong rushes to Godzilla's aid just as Mechagodzilla is about to deliver a killing blow, pulling him to safety. Godzilla realizes they must join forces against this shared threat. Mechagodzilla proves so powerful that it overwhelms them both at once. Kong retrieves his axe, though it remains uncharged, and still manages to strike Mechagodzilla with it. Just as the machine is about to kill Kong, Godzilla stops the attack in time. Unable to disable the machine through its controls, Madison and the hacker resort to dousing it with water, temporarily shutting it down. Seizing this opening, Mechagodzilla instead charges Kong's axe using its own nuclear energy before reactivating. Fully powered now, Kong tears Mechagodzilla apart, shattering its limbs, ripping off its head, and dismantling it piece by piece. With Mechagodzilla destroyed, Kong returns to the city. But then Godzilla rises once more. Kong grips his axe, bracing for another clash. Instead, having fought side by side, the two titans part ways peacefully, Godzilla retreating back into the ocean depths, and Kong returning permanently to Hollow Earth, bringing the young girl along with him. And that's where the story concludes. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel.